Trey, you need to do the introduction.
Oh, did we start?
Yeah, we started.
Oh, I was scrolling through YouTube. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of the Gravel Underdog podcast. I was distracted when Chase hit the record button, so that's why he's laughing. We're back with another episode, and this week we're talking about Marley Gravel, which is a UCI gravel race in the Netherlands, and Wout Van Aert raced. And besides that, I don't know what else happened there. And then we're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff too. But yeah,
I even brought a prop for this podcast. And have you heard of Marley Gravel before this weekend?
nope.
No?
Never knew it was happening until I saw Wout or people post about Wout winning it.
Yeah, all of a sudden I was on the trainer because I forget what day it took place, but I was on the trainer and just like I see a UCI gravel race has a live stream, and I'm like, okay, like whatever, I'll turn it on. And I turned it on with the last like 5K of the women's race, and then the men must have started after them because the men had like 10K left. And I was like, okay, perfect. So the women had Lorena Weebs, who's the world champion in gravel and like dominant force in the women's road scene. And then two women from the Canyon all-terrain team, and then two AG Insurance Sudal ladies. I was like, oh, this is going to be a really good finish. And yeah, I feel like any European UCI race, at least in the Netherlands or Belgium, is on like bike paths because, yeah, they were just like gravel bike paths. But yeah, Lorena Weebs ended up winning, which I was surprised none of the Canyon or AG Insurance women were like, they weren't trying to attack, but like Now Lang or now, yeah, the woman who got third at Seattle, she got fifth, which I thought was a crazy good result. And then yeah, Larissa Hartog, also on the Canyon ATR team, got second. And then yeah, some pro roadies are in there. But the big talking point was Wout Van Aert racing. So what did you see from the race?
Wout Van Aert did a gravel race. That's crazy. This gravel race was extremely like world tour coded though. Like it was all, not all, but like a ton of world tour people were there racing, and I'm not sure why. Because really, it looks like a pretty like it looks like Spirit of Gravel type of gravel race.
There
for the most part.
was 5 world tour riders and an Alpecin Premier Tech development rider. But out of the top 6 places in the men's race, 5 of them were world tour. So I think that's why it looked like there was a lot
Just
of
that's
world
what
tour.
all the pictures were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shout out to Rick Odema from the Netherlands. This guy got 3rd place he beat Florian Vermeersch, who is the current gravel world champion. So
yeah.
And actually, I was watching the live stream, and Rick was, so there was Wout one solo, and then there was a group of 4, and Rick was like pulling this group of 4 the whole time I was watching. But yeah, then I like was like, who is this guy? So I looked up his results, and he doesn't really have any like the Traca 200, he got 41st, and UCI, a different UCI gravel race, he got 62nd. And obviously you never know with gravel race results. I guess gravel 150, he got 3rd in the Netherlands. But I mean,
guess who finished 30th place in the
I
men's
don't
field?
actually know.
Greg Van Avermaet.
Whoa.
Yeah. Did you know he was there? I didn't either. I was just scrolling through results. That's crazy.
I mean, he's
None of these
still.
other names I know at all. Most of them I can't even pronounce. I heard the live stream was very good, though.
Yeah, the few kilometers I watched, yeah, it was really good. The motos, I believe they had motos. They definitely had motos because they were going over like tiny, tiny bridges.
Yeah.
Maybe e-bike, probably motos. Yeah.
Probably motos. I know I saw some motos.
And they
It's the only
sat
way to really
behind the
film
riders.
that. Yeah.
I saw some aerial footage. I don't know if that was a drone or helicopter,
I
but
think it was a drone, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a drone. I don't think those shots were from a helicopter,
yeah.
but they could have been.
But so
Yeah,
that is the
that is the gravel race recap from the weekend. I don't know of any other races that happened.
Oh, you know what I saw? I
What?
saw okay. Now I guess Matt Wilson never said it, but Cecile Lejeune commented on Matt Wilson's Belgian Waffle Ride California post because we were wondering why Matt Wilson didn't just dominate that. And I guess he
Yeah.
crashed earlier. I can't remember if it was during the race or leading up to the event. But then she was like, I can't believe you did that race on a broken rib, which is makes a little bit more sense why he didn't just like.
So he broke his rib in that crash during the race?
That's what it seems like. I don't want to like officially say it, but
Yeah. Whoa, that's
that's
crazy.
the comment.
Not good.
So hopefully, I mean, 4 weeks to heal a broken rib, that should be good.
Yeah. Broken ribs just like they're just like sore for a long time.
Oh,
You can
okay.
still train on them and stuff.
I need to take back what I just said. Cecile said, "Crazy you did that course on a broken rib. Mind blown emoji. Congrats." And then he commented, "Nah, got checked back out in New Zealand. Nothing was broken, luckily." But any like rib pain is anything to
Yeah.
like it sucks. So, I mean, also it's crazy he's back in New Zealand because there's a big gravel race happening in 2 weeks in America.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be traveling. Although over the weekend I did a ton of traveling, but that's okay.
Did you get to see Grace?
I got to see Grace. I went all the way to North Carolina, 10-hour drive,
Jeez.
to watch her brother propose.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah, so very little training happened because I did 20 hours of driving this weekend instead of 20 hours of bike riding.
You're
Not that
training your driving legs to get ready for the drive to Emporia.
Yeah, I'm just going to be fresh for the drive, which
It's
will
like
make the bike riding easier. It's actually a hack that no one knows about.
I do all this walking with Wout to
Yeah,
train my legs to walk around the expo. So
it's not a bad idea.
I don't get as fatigued as everyone else at the expo.
Dude, the expo fatigue is so real.
Yeah.
People got to watch out for that if you're in the pro race, I guess.
Speaking of
It's what the
expo,
amateurs do.
do you have any activations or planned meetups?
I think True Grit Racing is doing a pre-ride thing. I don't know any more details than that, but that's it. And then I'm sure I'll hang out at all of my sponsors' booths at some point in time, and I'll know more probably the week of the race. Yeah.
I'll
You?
be at Continental Friday at 1 p.m. and I think also 2 p.m. giving out knowledge, I guess. I'm hoping
It's
I
too late for knowledge if they see you the day before the race.
I wanted to do some like tire Q&A thing where
Yeah.
Holy Spirit of Gravel, me and Rosa like do an online webinar just talking about tires. And I emailed Liz about this. Maybe it was in person that I wanted to do it. But I know Lenny listens to this podcast, so
Yeah.
Lenny, let's make this happen and please help Rosa get in on this. I know Rosa's super busy and probably doesn't have time for us, but
Bro, Rosa was just on the Bonk Babes podcast. She is great on a podcast. I don't
she
think
was at,
what?
I listened to it. She was asking like Danny about her race
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, dude, she
yeah,
was such a good podcaster. It was
yeah.
great.
No.
Yeah, so if you
Rosa's
guys
like
haven't listened to the Bonk Babes podcast with Rosa Closer, go listen to that because it's really good.
I think she's my favorite woman gravel racer.
Yeah. She's like easily likable, really fast. Like, yeah, she's just easy to root for.
Yeah. And plus she wins and is nice and yeah.
Yeah, winning and nice. Those are two things that make someone like really easy to cheer on.
And smiling, like yeah, I've never
Yeah,
seen a yeah.
this isn't the podcast where we're going to pick our podium for Unbound, but I think Rose is going to win.
I'm gonna save my
Save your
vocal
picks.
yeah, save my picks for
Okay. Good
but
idea. Good idea.
Speaking of Unbound, I guess we still need to plan our live web stream of all things Unbound. Yeah.
I think we're going to have to do it like Sunday night.
Sunday
Or
night.
Sunday afternoon is like, I think the only time it's going to actually happen.
Wait, that works for me. And it probably works for all the gravel dads.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Let us know if Sunday night will work for y'all.
Speaking of gravel dads, dude, I'm getting into the merch game.
Okay,
Can I?
I like it.
I'm
Are
having.
you gonna share your screen and show us the merch?
Yeah. So I posted on my story of like it looks kind of like Hot Wheels. So I found
Did our good friend make that for you?
AJ's
He sent
helping
it.
me out.
Yeah, he
So
sent that to me.
we're having this gravel dad t-shirt available. And then I'm also we're gonna have this t-shirt available. Just a nice basic gravel dad
Gravel
t-shirt.
Dad. I like it.
Yeah. I
The Hot
even
Wheels one is cool though.
yeah, the Hot
Gravel
Wheels
Dad's
one is
gonna
cool.
love that.
I don't know if I want to give away all my secrets, but I'll give away all my secrets. I was walking through Target and I found this
Yeah.
t-shirt hanging up and I was like, AJ, can we kind of copy this and just make it say Gravel Dads?
What does
It
that
says
say?
Hot Wheels.
Dad.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah, because
How you know how
Go
there's
ahead.
all these gravel dads out there that like advertise being gravel dads? This is not like throwing shade at that. There's just like a lot of guys like saying they're gravel dads, but they all have like young kids like you. They all have
Mhm.
like little babies or like 4, 5, 6 year olds. Can I get one for my dad because he does gravel
Yeah,
and
I
he's a
think
dad?
Okay, let me
He's doing the 50
defend.
mile at Unbound, so he's a gravel dad.
I will hook him up with a shirt.
I'm gonna get him one. I don't think he listens to this podcast, so it'll be a even bigger surprise. He's gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I want to
Let's have a
defend
competition for the oldest gravel dad.
the oldest gravel dad. That would just probably be
Yeah,
the
the oldest,
oldest male in the field.
but he has to buy a shirt.
Gravel grandpa. Oh, dude, that's the
Make
next
that
one.
shirt. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I don't think we have many female listeners, if any, but if a female wants to partner with the gravel mom stuff, that's wide open. I will help out with that. But
You'll make the gravel mom shirts.
yeah. But okay, wait. I want to defend the gravel dads that have young parents, because once you get older, at like the amount of time you have to like spend, or like taking care of the child, like, once your kid turns 16, they're kind of
Doing their own thing.
doing their own thing, and when they're a teenager, they like just want to be with their friends. So like,
Yeah.
I think it's easier to train. But yeah, I mean, at Granny's, I think we talked about it last weekend. There was like teenagers waiting for their dad at the finish line, and I thought that was super cool, because I was like, they could be doing. I mean, it's not like they're 5 and just we're getting like, you can't just go hang out with your friends instead of going to your dad's gravel race. Like,
Yeah.
they wanted to be there, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then I think I'm gonna work on hats, something like this, but it won't say Good Life Nutrition. We'll just say
gravel dad.
Gravel Dad.
Yeah. Somebody asked on YouTube, they left a comment on our last podcast asking about True Grit merch. I need to look into that to see if we can make some, because obviously it exists because I'm wearing it, but I'll see if we can get some for the people. I have not looked into that yet.
Drew's the one who's supposed to have lunchbox merch, but Gravel Dad's kind of more widespread. So I thought before Lexi comes in with everything, I gotta like put my foot down of like, I'm actually a dad, so not just a dog dad.
Not just a dog dad. That's cheating.
Yeah.
Dogs are easy to take care of,
Yeah. Dog owners would disagree, but
we didn't make any notes for this episode, so I think we're just gonna jump around from random topic to random topic.
Dude,
but
Wait. I also have a 30-minute interview that we have to like insert into this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might just throw that in like next, but I wanted to bring up one other topic. Did you see that I'm not going to be able to think of his name now because I need to think of it. The guy that had he got disqualified from Traca for running a camera. Garrison.
Oh, Michael Garrison. Dude, yeah. I was about to invite him onto the podcast.
To talk about that?
Yeah, because we don't really have anything to talk about, and he's just like the coolest gravel racer ever, so.
Yeah. Do we know if Drew got disqualified?
No.
For posting that YouTube video?
He said not yet. I don't think he will. I think the thing about Michael is like his clips have gone viral on Instagram, like from events of like the class mark people have put on. So I think it was just easier for them to see like his clips on Instagram and like they probably have 100,000 views or something crazy. Where Drew's is like on YouTube, it's a race analysis video. Like, I don't think the Traka people are. They seem more like Instagram influencer type people, if that makes sense, than like
Sure.
I'm gonna watch go check on like
It's just I
YouTube.
cannot believe they disqualified Garrison for running a camera. And then it's even crazier if they don't disqualify Drew or any of the GCN guys that made a video on it. I haven't watched a video, but I know they were racing Traka and made a video. So all these gravel races need to like get their rules and stuff together. You know?
Speaking of rules, the Onbound Tech Guide came out today.
It did. I haven't looked at it yet.
I threw it in AI and said, "What rules can I break?"
Oh,
And it said, "You can still run
you
your
can
long
run aero
hydration
bars?
system." No,
Your
it
what?
doesn't say that. I'll
Long?
run my the hydration system that I put in the
Oh,
front.
yeah. You're like
Yeah,
fake aero bars disguised as a hydration system.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not that. It's used for carrying water, not
Yeah.
for resting my
100%.
elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I told
I know.
you something that could be mistaken for an aero bar? Have I told you I like kind of found a way. I want to print a 3D print a like super long a Wahoo mount
Yeah.
to like
I've actually thought about that, but it would have to be real strong.
yeah, it was gonna be I was gonna. There's a guy who I met in California who's like, yeah, there's a place in China where you just send them a CAD file and they'll 3D print it in titanium. And what I was gonna do was get the stem cap CAD file from Profile Design for the stem that I use and just make
Yeah.
it a really like have it come from the stem cap because like the
Yeah.
bolts will make it really secure. And then
Yeah.
yeah.
That is true.
Or if someone's listening and wants to help with
What
this,
Garmin mount? What Garmin mount do you currently use?
I have a Wahoo. I just use the Silka
Wahoo
Chisela.
mount. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chisela.
What if Silka just made a really long one?
I've asked them and I've also seen their 3D printing process. And I think I want Silka to make me one. I
Don't think they have the capacity to do that.
I could ask again. This was 2 years ago when I like
Yeah.
didn't have a good. I shouldn't say didn't have a good relationship. I like I was new working with them, so
Oh,
now
okay.
that I'm
Yeah. Should we get to the big news of today's episode?
yeah, we should also say we're sorry this is late. I know the listeners love our super consistent schedule. Just kidding. We don't have a consistent schedule. But this is the latest we've ever put out a podcast.
Yeah.
And that is one because we're busy training for Onbound. 2,
Yes.
we're hanging out with our girlfriends or wives. And then 3, there's a new product coming out.
Today is the launch for the ENVE gravel wheel. What do you call it? Gravel wheel. There's 2 different options. The gravel wheels. I don't know if they can. Hopefully that is clear when we upload, because right now it's pretty blurry.
All right.
Yeah, but should we talk about what we know about them, and then we can throw in the. You talked to Jake this morning, their ENVE's product designer, and maybe engineer. I don't know what his exact title is. I'm
So I
sure he says
guess
it.
there are people just listening to this, or they have it like playing on YouTube, but they're probably like cooking in the kitchen or something. So
Yeah.
what I just showed the camera was my new ENVE G SES 4.5 Pro. I think I said that in the right way. 4.5 G SES Pro wheel.
Yep. I'll just run through the quick facts. So there's the wheel that Chase just talked about, the GSES 4.5 Pro, which is the same dimensions as a regular 4.5 in terms of depth, has a 30 mil internal, and has the Pro hub and Pro spokes like on the Pro 4.5s that Tade runs. And it retails, I think, for $3,100, if I'm not mistaken, give or take $100 or so. And they also have a non-pro version with the same rim, but with the regular SES hub and spokes. And then there is also the GSES 6.7 wheels, which are the same depth as the regular ENVE 6.7s, which is 70 mils in the back and 62 in the front, I think. And those are 35 mil internals and only come in a pro option and are the same price as the 4.5 pros. So those are the new ENVE gravel wheels. Yeah. The non-pro, the regular SES ones are, I think, 2,800. I want to say. Yeah. You've been riding them a while. I've been riding them a while. What are your thoughts?
So it's been blowing about 30-mile-per-hour winds every single day here, probably everywhere in the Midwest. So right now I have Continental Terra Speed 45 millimeters on them, and they handle crosswinds like a champ. And dude, I averaged 22 miles per hour yesterday on my ride with like my Lauf at endurance pace with these. I did change my cranks to 150s. I guess we could have talked about that, but dude, I love them. Also, like last year, every year that I haven't been riding with ENVE, whenever I've seen someone riding ENVE wheels, I'm just like, dang, I know they're like on the best equipment out there. And now, dude, I get to ride them, and like they're really light. They're for like how deep they are. They're 1,480 grams for the GSES 4.5 Pros. And
they also overestimate the weights. We've gotten in a couple sets of each and weighed them. We'll have videos, and when I say we, I mean the bicycle station. We have a couple of videos coming out today that you guys can go and watch and learn more. But we weighed them, and they were all like 30 grams lighter than the claimed weight.
Whoa, that's with tape and valves.
Yeah, with tape and valves. Yeah. I don't know why they're like overestimating. I don't know if they like weight them with lock rings because they come with lock rings or something, but it's like they were all quite a bit lighter than the claimed weight.
I've been on the 4.5. So you've been on the 6.7s.
Yeah, I've ridden both the 6.7s and the 4.5s. I raced the 6.7s in Mid-South, and I raced them at that local gravel race that I won. And at Mid-South, I ran 2.2s, and at that local gravel race, I rode 40s, which is actually smaller than their smallest recommended tire you're supposed to run on them. And then at Sea Otter, I ran the 4.5s.
Okay.
The 6.7s are insanely fast on flat and rolling courses. So Chase, you have to get a set ASAP because
I know.
they blow every other wheel out of the water. And then the 4.5s also blow every other wheel out of the water, but the 6.7s like are quite a bit faster than the 4.5s. But they're also heavier, so you have to take that into account.
Dude, I mean the spec weight that they put in, it's only 100 grams more. So in my head, I'm like,
yeah.
Honestly, I'm already
the
trying to
weight on those. Is it 1580? Yeah. So my set, and it's partially I think because it doesn't have stickers. They weighed like 1505 or something like that. So like way lighter than the claimed weight. It's
Dude,
crazy.
that's
But I
yeah.
think the stickers like probably add like 20 or 30 grams, I would guess.
Yeah, but you make up for that with
It's hard to tell.
watts
The
saved by
cool
how
looks.
cool
Yeah.
it looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked them about that
Um
in the interview. I was like, "Do you guys like is the coolness when the wheel is spinning, like especially on a camera, like is that something you guys like
yeah.
tried to do or just by accident?" And it, I think it's just kind of by accident. And he tells the story of like back when they were called Edge and like at
Yeah.
Cross
It was a
Vegas.
similar logo when they were
Yeah. The like wheel would look like it was strobing. So
oh, that's sick. Yeah. Back in the Edge days. Yeah, should we go ahead and throw in your interview with Jake and then we'll come back and talk about some other tech talk stuff and listener
yeah.
questions?
Yeah. So
Cool.
everyone enjoy this interview.
Here-
We'll be back. This is a special part of today's podcast. We have Jake from ENVE. I already forgot what Chris said. You were your vice. Yeah, if you just want to introduce yourself and what
Yeah.
you do at ENVE, that would be great.
Yeah, so Jake Pantone, and I oversee product and R&D here at ENVE. And I've been at the company for pretty much the whole time it's been around. So that's roughly 20 years now. And yeah, I started more on the sales and marketing side of things, and positions evolved over the years into the product side. So currently
And you're
overseeing the product pipeline.
nice. And Chris also said you're a bike racer yourself.
I'm a what? Sorry.
A bike racer? Sorry.
Oh yeah. So I have a background in racing like most in the bike industry, and yeah, still do a couple gravel events here and there or whatever pops up that seems like it would be fun. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess, yeah, we are having ENVE on the podcast because it is the launch of your guys' new wheel, the GSES, which isn't just one wheel. There's 3 wheels, I believe. The GSES 4.5 or the 4.5 GSES, 4.5 GSES Pro, and then the 6.7 GSES Pro. So, yeah, what made you guys go with kind of I mean, you have the 4.5 and the 6.7 on the roadside, but what made you want to go with 2 different depths on the gravel side?
Sure. So I mean, we've been exploring aerodynamics in gravel wheel design for some time. In the past, before tire sizes had sort of reached the current volumes that people are racing, so let's just say 50 millimeters and in some cases larger, we hadn't really been able to see a huge justification to develop a specific rim for gravel racing, so to speak, meaning like we were seeing better aero performance at the smaller tire volumes with rims that we sort of currently already made. So rims in the 25 millimeter, 25 to 27 millimeter internal rim depth. We're sort of delivering better aero performance at tire volumes of 40 millimeters, so to speak, when we kind of looked at it in the past. As tire sizes have increased, we wanted to go back to the drawing board and better understand like what opportunities may or may not exist to develop a more efficient wheel set for gravel racing when paired with larger volume tires. And so we went to the wind tunnel, not with really any specific goals of like having a 6.7 or a 4.5 or anything like that. It was just like what is possible, what are the opportunities that are present to deliver more efficiency and performance for gravel racers, using modern tire volumes, and we'd say that's basically 45 millimeter plus. And what we learned in the wind tunnel was that there was opportunity, there was drag reduction and savings to be had, and there's an interaction that happens with these larger volume tires when paired with a rim that's tuned to those dimensions. And we didn't necessarily go in there with any specific understanding of whether it be width or depth that delivered the performance, and so we wanted to explore both those topics. And so we like you mentioned, we currently already make on the roadside 4.5s and 6.7s, and so we made some prototypes using basically allowed us to 3D print skeletons that fixed over the top of existing rims, just to play with widths and depths. So we really wanted to understand how much aero performance could be achieved by making the rim wider, and how much could be attributed to having more depth to the system. And then, of course, there's always the consideration of like, is this thing actually rideable, and how much is it going to weigh, and can it be tough enough, and all those other factors that go into making a good race wheel set. But what we learned is that depth definitely helps the most. There's when you're chasing aero performance, especially as you get out to different yaw angles, wind angles, and having deeper rim definitely helps. So we saw a significant benefit of having that 60-70 millimeter depth rim versus a 40-50 millimeter depth rim, which we kind of already know based on what we see on the roadside, but seeing it track as expected with gravel tires was also interesting. And then we also wanted to explore how much the actual width of the rim itself, the internal rim width, affected the aero performance as well. And so we basically took everything from a standard 6.7, and then we made prototypes with 27 mil internal, 30 mil internal, 35 millimeter internals, and then compared those as well in the wind tunnel, and with a large volume tire. In this case, we're using, in order to sort of simplify the testing and take a little bit of noise out, we initially started with just slick tires, and we used the Rene Hurst brand because they make a tire in a 40, 44, 48, all with all the same tread pattern, and so we were able to end down to a 36 even. So we had 4 of their tires that all had the same tread pattern, all slicks, or file tread kind of setups, minor tread. And we use those for initial comparisons. And what we found is that the fastest wheel combination that we could come up with as it related to depth and width was this 35 millimeter internal by a 60 by 70 rim depth, and it's 60 by 67 to be specific. And so that was the fastest thing we tested. But then acknowledging that okay, that was definitely one of the goals of the project, being let's make the fastest aero gravel wheel we possibly can, like no holds barred. Also acknowledging that that depth, the 60 by 67 mil deep wheel set, comes with some trade-offs, and those trade-offs being weight primarily. We realize that there's definitely opportunity to introduce something that has a better, more balanced approach. Basically what we see on the road. And so we started optimizing sort of a 4.5 depth, and that's really when we sort of decided we're going to have 2 different wheel models, a 4.5, a GSES 4.5 and a GSES 6.7. And the 6.7 is the no holds barred, aero it, kind of all costs wheel set, and the 4.5 version is the more balanced approach. It comes at about a 3.5 watt penalty, but it's not a lot, and you get quite a bit. You get a lighter weight wheel that achieves achieves quite close to the same aero performance, but when we're talking about maximizing performance, watts matter. And frankly, like on the road side, 3.5 watts doesn't sound like a lot, but on the road side of things, we're with road wheel design and where it's at today, finding a 1/4 watt to a 1/2 watt is a pretty substantial win these days on the road wheel side of things. So that delta of 3 watts between a 6.7 and a 4.5 G SES wheel is pretty significant.
Yeah, no, I haven't rode the 6.7, but the 4.5 I feel like handles super well in the crosswinds. So I'm excited to get my hands on a 6.7 and see how fast they are. Like, yeah. You did mention you guys went to the wind tunnel. I believe it was the Mercedes AMG Petronas, however you say that, F1 wind tunnel. Was that like a 1 day thing that you guys went over there? And it sounds like you probably went over there with, was it about 8 different prototypes if I'm, or how, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the project was actually is more the project in total is closer to like a 2-year project.
Okay.
And it included three, maybe even, I think we basically, probably four different wind tunnel trips over the course of that 2-year period to really sort of get to. I mean, we're doing other development in the wind tunnel as well, but as far as the number of days in the wind tunnel, each trip, 4 different wind tunnel trips, and then a day and a half focused on gravel aero development in each of those visits. Yes, you're right. We test out of the Mercedes Petronas wind tunnel, one of their tunnels, and we use that wind tunnel because that's the wind tunnel that Simon Smart has worked with and has the highest level of confidence in, and that's one that we've worked out of since 2009. So we have a really long history of testing in that tunnel, and we understand it really well, and we feel very confident in the data and the numbers that it produces. And we also have a custom built test rig or platform that we do all of our development in, and it provides a very high level of resolution. There's many tunnels where anything, they're not capable of getting a resolution of less than a watt or two, and so this tunnel allows us to have we've developed this platform to be able to give us readings of less than a watt consistently, and so that level of resolution and precision that the test rig produces makes it a very important tool in our R&D tool quiver, and it is where we've tested for the better part of the last 15 years. That's the main reason we go to that specific wind tunnel. Simon Smart, our aerodynamicist, is there, and then that's the tunnel that he works out of mostly.
Gotcha. One kind of backing up to all the different iterations that you went through. Are there any like trade-offs you refused, or like, do you ever set like a maximum weight a wheel could be? Like, okay, we're not going to make a wheel that's over 1,600 grams, or internal width. It sounds like you tested every single or like lots of iterations on internal width, but yeah, are there any benchmarks you set when designing these wheels or making them?
Yeah, I mean, ENVE won't be or isn't the first to market with an aerodynamically optimized gravel wheel. So we from a benchmarking standpoint, we have an understanding of what the competition's wheel sets weigh, how they perform in the test lab as far as their impact strength and durability. And so we of course have those as benchmarks. And then there's just the reality of like knowing what, because a lot of us here do a lot of gravel riding and racing, and we have a sort of that intimate relationship and understanding of like what's good and what's maybe not, or where certain things will excel and not. And so, to answer your question specifically, no, there's not like a maximum weight cap, but there kind of is, just based on knowing where the competition is at certain weights, and then you have to do the analysis of, okay, well, if we're going to be 100 grams or 50 grams heavier, you know, are the aerodynamics worth that weight, and where would this wheel set be used? And specifically, the 6.7 is kind of where the hand wringing, so to speak, or like the real contemplation of whether this concept makes sense, and where we would use this wheel. And I think the first thing we have to answer ourselves is like, where would I personally use this wheel set? When would I choose the weight hit, the weight penalty for the aero performance? And so, like with the 6.7 specifically, we did everything in our power to develop a rim laminate that meets the durability tests and is as light as possible. But with that wheel, the priority and the goal is the aerodynamics. And the understanding with that wheel is, this is the wheel that you're going to take to unbound. This is the wheel you're going to take for flatter, more rolling and open courses, where momentum and speed are high. And so for like me personally, that's the wheel I go to unbound and race unbound on. I recently got back from the Traca and raced out there. I actually used the 6.7 at Traca, and it on paper it has a similar amount of climbing, oddly, to like what unbound does, but it's a different kind of climbing. It's more sustained climbing, and it's a more dynamic course. There's a lot more tight. There's a lot more twisty corners. You're kind of in the trees more. You're more protected. I took the 6.7 mostly because we wanted to have a wheel set out there, but probably not the optimal choice for that kind of event. Like I would have far preferred to be on a G SES 4.5 for an event like that, where the weight savings would be a benefit, and the aerodynamics are sort of less at play because you're doing a lot more sustained climbing, sustained descending, and then a lot of the flatland stuff was kind of protected amongst the fields and the forest and the hedgerows and things like that. But like for an event like unbound, the 6.7 is like a no-brainer. That's the wheel you take to unbound. You've got long, straight, rolling terrain, and you can really, you really want to carry your momentum up each of those hills, and then out in the flats and in the wind, you want all that aerodynamic advantage that 6.7 provides. So in terms of the parameters of each design, it's really just looking at like, where would we use the wheels personally, and what are the courses that athletes would use these on, working with Alexi. But yeah, it became clear that yes, aerodynamics at all costs, the 6.7 is the answer. For a more balanced approach for courses that are more technical, steeper, more sustained climbing, we needed to have something lighter. And then it was like, okay, how do we make the most balanced combination of aerodynamics and weight savings and durability? And that's really what gave birth to the G SES 4.5. Gotcha. And then between the 4.5 and the 4.5 Pro, that's really more of a market positioning tool. So, it's really saying like, not everybody wants a $3,000, not everybody wants, or not everybody can afford a $3,000 plus, race gravel wheel set. And so that's where the standard GSES 4.5 comes into play. It hits at a more competitive price point. Same rim technology, same aerodynamic advantage and performance, just a slight weight penalty, and doesn't feature some of the bells and whistles like ceramic bearings that the Pro model does.
I guess one of my questions I had is, which wheel would you recommend for the everyday rider? But it sounds like it kind of matters where they live and what races they're doing. I'm from Minnesota. It's
Yeah.
flat. Like I just put on a gravel race that's 110 miles and has less than 2,000 feet of climbing. So the 6.7's perfect for that. Where if you're Alexi who lives in Boulder, Colorado and is climbing, he probably rides the 4.5 more often, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think each rider, each customer out there is going to need to sort of take an honest evaluation of what they need the wheel set to do and what their priorities are. And if it's aerodynamics and speed and the terrain they ride accommodates for that, then the 6.7 is going to be a fantastic wheel set for them. If like here at ENVE, have you been out? Did you do Grodio last year? Did you come out for that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so yeah, I know like Trey and the guys were out here, but it's for an event like Grodio, I also rode the 6.7 at Grodio last year. But there's 1,500 foot climb kind of right out of the gate, and then there's a bunch of technical kind of slow terrain, and it's really the 6.7 will get it done just fine. It's a really fun wheel to descend on, honestly. Like the wide footprint creates a really stable platform and makes descending really confidence inspiring. But you do have to drag a nearly 1,600 gram wheel set up all that elevation, and that does tend to be a little more taxing if you're comparing it to wheel sets in the like our previous G23 at 1,300 grams or less, and in the new 4.5 Pro at 1,450 grams, whatever that, I think that's what that wheel set weighs. So yeah, like in a case like that, having a half-pound lighter wheel set where we're doing sustained climbing is going to be a better overall choice, I think, than the outright aero performance delivered by the 6.7.
The 6.7 just looks cooler, so I think that's another reason to ride it. So
hey, that's part of the decision matrix.
I guess you would know this. I think, I mean, ever since I've like been in the sport, or ever since you guys have had like the 3 sticker approach on the wheel, I always think the ENVE wheels look the best on TV. Just like once they're spinning, was that like just how the camera like catches it? Was that ever a thought, like making the wheel look cool while it's in action? Or I just watched Sam Long a few
Yeah.
weeks ago during Ironman Oceanside, and like his ENVE disc wheel looks, I mean, it just stands out compared to everyone else's disc wheel out on course and on the TV.
Yeah, I mean it's we of course want the product to look as good as possible on TV and on athletes, and so I think we just to a certain degree strategically or not lucked out. I wouldn't say we necessarily planned that as the goal of like when we designed the logo originally, but the original Edge logos before we changed the name to ENVE, the Edge logos always provided a really cool strobe effect. Like I remember we were in, you're probably too young to remember this, but Las Vegas Interbike, they used to do what's called Cross Vegas, and they do a cyclocross race under the lights at night out there. And it was always, you could always tell who the Edge athletes were at the time because you could see the wheels just had this like really cool pulsating strobe effect under the lights. And then when we changed the name to ENVE, like the logos on the wheels definitely provide a unique aesthetic when they're rotating and on video and camera. So not fully intentional, but sometimes you're just lucky.
Yeah. Going back, you mentioned just a little bit ago durability. I don't think I know there's like a UCI standard for like road race wheels, but when designing a gravel wheel for durability, what's that process look like? Are you just hitting UCI road standards? Are you going above them, or is there some standard that I just don't actually know about?
You're correct. The UCI has always had a road wheel test for a wheel to be qualified or certified for UCI events. And so that's actually a test that has evolved drastically over the years. And that test has actually changed quite a bit. But internally at ENVE, we have our own tests, and they generally surpass any. They are our own tests, and we've always held durability and safety and reliability as a number one priority for us with our wheel designs. We've been making mountain wheels since day one, and so we, with the bookends of a road impact test and a mountain bike impact test, we developed our own standard for gravel, gravel all road we sort of call it, and it's a test that basically uses the mountain bike impact fixtures. So the road impact fixtures are less aggressive than the mountain, but for gravel we use the mountain bike impact. We use the mountain bike anvils basically, so they're more aggressive, a little sharper, and then it's basically a hybrid between the road and the mountain bike tests. And if you're looking at it in the range, the gravel testing standards sit just below our cross country race standards, as far as the maximum the maximum impact that the wheel has to take. Yeah, it sits just slightly below what our cross country XC standards are. So and every brand has probably their different testing criteria, and that's, I think, one of our competitive advantages maybe, is just for each brand's sort of individual IP, so to speak, is how you test and what you say is a sufficient impact result to ensure safety and to reduce the number of damaged product in the field, because there's also the consumer experience there. Nobody really wants to have customers buying wheels that are breaking or failing on them, and so we do as much as possible to ensure that the wheels we're testing and developing and then testing meet standards that we're comfortable with in terms of what they're going to how they're going to perform in the field. Yeah, and I guess what we see is it's clear that not every brand has the same. It's clear that not every brand has the same test criteria for impact toughness, or they're testing in different ways, because we very frequently see competitor product that's quite a bit lighter, but in the same time that product doesn't pass doesn't or won't pass our impact test standards. So again, it's trade-offs, like deciding what, where to make the sacrifice, or what, are you willing to sacrifice a little bit of impact toughness and durability for weight savings, or what? Okay. So yeah, we definitely see that with competitor product.
And you guys back it up with a limited lifetime warranty, which is super cool.
Yeah. I mean, we've always tried to take care of the customer. Like, the thing with a performance product is you're always threading the needle a little bit between making it, keeping it competitively lightweight and also sufficiently strong and tough for everyday use. And for sure, there's instances and times when whether by fault of the customer or not, things happen, and so we have warranty and crash replacement policies that take care of the customer wherever possible.
Yeah, I guess I misspoke. It's like crash replacement. So yeah, I mean, at a good example at Sea, there was someone in the pro field with a light brand of wheels. His just exploded. So it's good to know the ENVE wheels are tested to a super high standard. So I think that covers it. I mean, is there anything else you want the folks to know? Is there anything on that spec sheet that really maybe like a hidden gem or you want people to know about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably one topic that's come up a few times as we've talked to other journalists and shops and dealers. There's been questions about the minimum tire size recommended for the wheels, specifically the 6.7. I believe we list the minimum tire size to be 44 millimeter.
Mhm.
It's important to note that recommendation is primarily driven by one, what we want the ride experience to be on the wheel, meaning like, and then that leads into, it's really about aerodynamics and flat protection. We a part of the testing for these wheels, because if anybody paying attention to ETRTO and their recommended rim width and tire width compatibilities, the 6.7 falls outside of what they would recommend in their charts for tire size to be going on a rim that's 35 millimeter internal. We did and do comprehensive tire retention testing on all of our wheel sets, and we that's how we develop our maximum rim pressures and things like that. So the most important thing for tire retention for customers to know is, like, do not exceed the maximum pressure of the rim or the tire, whichever's lowest. So in the case of the GSES 4, 5, and 6, 7, the maximum rim pressure is 50 psi, and a lot of gravel tires will be lower than that. If they're larger than 50 millimeters, should be lower than that. And if they're in the 40s something, they might be as high as 60. But again, the max tire pressure is the lowest between the rim and the tire. So in most cases, it's going to be the rim probably, or the tire probably. So that's the number one thing people need to pay attention to is we've done our testing. We haven't seen any blow off issues with tires, even well below, tires down into the 30 millimeter range. We put our own SCS road 35 millimeter road tire on a GSES 6.7, and that tire also passes the blow off test. But you would never want to actually ride that tire because you basically expose so much of the rim and the tire sidewall itself to the ground. And so that's
Mhm.
what the tire recommendations are about. One is the aerodynamic performance. If you want to run a tire, need to run a tire smaller than 44, there's better rims. Like, you'd be better running our standard road 4.5
Oh,
if you're
okay.
trying to achieve aero performance of like a 40 millimeter tire. So like a 40 millimeter tire on our standard 4.5 is going to be a better aerodynamic combination than a 40 on our GSES 6.7. You really have to be in those larger tire volumes to benefit from the aero dynamic shaping of the 6.7 GSES rim. And then the other side is just like, as you get into if you get too small on the tire size, and the way that 35 millimeter internal width stretches out the footprint of the tire, you start to expose a lot of the sidewall. So you're sort of like putting areas of the sidewall into the dirt, and your propensity for sidewall cuts and flatting is going to go way up. So we say in that spec sheet, or in the deck, we say you need to be running at least a 10 millimeter larger tire than the inner rim width of the rim, effectively. So with ENVE's tire line, that means it's a hex 44 or larger. And so technically it's 9 millimeters different, not 10, but that's our minimum tire size in our line. We're okay with somebody running a hex 44 on a GSES 6.7, but we would, really the benefits and the justification for that 6.7 rim really aren't really maximized till you're getting into more of the 48, 50 millimeter, 52, millimeter tire range, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, you've been saying, do you pronounce it have you been saying Jesus or Jesus?
You can say whatever. You can say Jesus. You can say Jesus. Whatever. GSES. Yeah, we say it all sorts of ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you got the Jesus wheel and 6-7 in there, so you got but two
The
memes
6-7. Yeah.
but no, I've been thinking
Yeah.
of like
Everything.
my Instagram reel for the launch, and I'm like, do I put like Jesus take the wheel music to like the Instagram reel, or yeah, do some
You
like
might need to. Yeah, you might need to do
yeah.
that. We'll let your creative spirit guide you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jake, for taking the time and yeah, talking about the wheels. And I mean, I've been riding them and they're awesome. Like, I feel super fortunate to be riding ENVE wheels. Whenever I've seen people on ENVE wheels, I guess I'm envious. Like, it's always been a dream of mine to be riding them. And I'm excited to be a part of this launch. So, sweet.
Well,
Well,
glad to have you on them, Chase. Glad you're enjoying them.
thank you, Jake. Will you be at Onbound?
I am actually not going to be at Unbound this year. This will be, in my defense, this will be my first skipped Unbound in probably like 7 years or something. So,
Whoa,
yeah,
dang.
but yeah, I won't be able to make it this year, but yeah, hopefully get back there next year. We'll have a good crew out there though. We have a lot of people going, so um, I wanted to give others the opportunity to experience all that is Unbound. So yeah,
Yeah,
should be good. ENVE will be there in full effect.
awesome. Yeah, if the listeners are around, swing by the ENVE booth, check out the new wheels, and yeah, I'll see you around at some point, Jake. So,
For
thanks
sure.
for
Yeah,
taking your time.
no problem. Thanks for the chat.
And we're back to talk about some tech talk stuff. Do you want to talk about your 150 mil cranks, and then I have another topic?
Yeah. I don't know like how in like weird I want to get, but so I used to have a road bike in 2020 and 2021 with rotor cranks, and I had 150s or 155s, and I just really enjoyed the short like crank arms. And then when I moved over to Lauf, I don't know if I should say I couldn't get anything to be 155s or if I was just too lazy to figure out how to make rotor crank arms work on the Lauf. But essentially, I just always ran the SRAM crank arms, which like till 2024, I had to run 165s. Last year, I could run 160s. And then this year, they finally came out with 150s. So I put those on. And dude, what's weird is like my like RPMs hasn't gone up. So I just like put even more force into the pedals. But
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed. I mean, I broke them in with like a 6.5 hour ride the other day, and I went by like there. I went through a town, and there was all these like windows that I could look in, and it just looked like my back was more flat, which would make sense. Like my hips are now higher, but my like you would just pivot like head's
Yep.
got to stay there. So
Yeah, if you didn't change your bars, then your lower back would be higher, which makes it the like saddle to bar drop more,
yeah.
basically. Yeah.
So I have a theory that I am now even more aerodynamic with the shorter cranks. So yeah, best of both worlds.
I'm on 160s, but I want to get 155s, and I just haven't done it yet. My bike fitter told me to get 155s like 2 months ago, and I still just haven't done it.
I should also reference I'm like 5'7" for people listening.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty
I'm
short.
5'11", and I still am on really short cranks, and I think it helps. So go buy yourself some short SRAM cranks right before Unbound.
From the bicycle station. Also,
From the
go buy
bicycle station.
the ENVE wheels from the bicycle station.
But yeah, go buy the wheels from the bicycle station.
Tell them Gravel
Because I'm
Underdogs sent
pretty
you.
sure we might be the only shop that has some currently. It sounds like ENVE has a lot less than they were planning to have on launch day. We'll have a lot more like after Unbound. But if you want some for Unbound, hit us up and see if we have any left. I don't know if we will or not.
Should
That's
they
the news.
leave a comment that Gravel Underdog sent them?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, we'll figure out how to make that a sponsorship official.
It's okay if it doesn't happen, but
yeah,
maybe Jesse can give me like
$1
I don't know, a
per
high
wheelset.
five. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he'll buy. Maybe from all the money the bicycle station will make, I guess I feel like Chase out of anything deserves a Gravel Mom T-shirt. So maybe,
Yeah, she definitely does.
yeah, maybe dude. This is how we could partner. Bicycle station could sell Gravel Dad and Gravel Mom merch.
There we go. We can do that. I
Yeah.
know for a fact we could do that. Yeah.
Dude, and they
we'll
could
make
just
that happen.
buy it from
it.
off of the website.
Yeah. We could do that.
Okay.
It's easy. Cool. That's a plan. We're gonna do that.
Oh, back to the wheels. You did some testing on with the 6.7s compared to other stuff, right?
I did some. I've been testing them for I don't know, like 4 or 5 months now. I've only recently gotten the 4.5s, but I've tested them against basically every other popular gravel wheel from like name brands, and it's significantly faster than everything else we've tested. And then we tested the 4.5s against some of the newer stuff, but not a ton of different wheels. We tested them against like the new Rovals, the Zip Explorer wheels, a couple other things, and the 4.5s were also faster than everything else, just by a very small margin, but still faster.
And this is
but
like
the 6.7s were way faster.
This is like unbiased since Bicycle Station sells all of those brands, right?
We saw all of those, yeah. And yeah, we tested it on out and back. That's a gradual uphill going out and then downhill, obviously coming back. And the 6.7s and the 4.5s were faster both out and back. I would assume once a hill gets like 6, 7, 8, 10%, both of those will probably slow down compared to like the Rovals that weigh 100 grams less, but it's hard to tell. Definitely need to do more testing. But for like a course like Unbound, it's obviously the best choice.
Yeah, even in the podcast with Jake, he was talking about how the ENVE, I think it's G25s, would be like a better wheel to do like a very like a mountain, like a Crusher and the Tusher type of race where it's just like
very mountainous.
Yeah.
Did he talk about their impact testing?
Yeah, we brought up durability a little bit.
I doubt he like shared like their actual testing data and results and stuff. But I saw that at some point, and I'm not gonna like divulge any results whatsoever. But ENVE uses the mountain bike standard for their gravel wheel impact testing. So you can be assured that your wheels aren't going to blow up when you're riding gravel because they can withstand mountain bike standards. But what was surprising about the testing was some of the other competitors' gravel wheels didn't pass like the road standards, which is like, I think ETRTO standard like needs to actually no, I think it's their own standard. I can't remember. But some other competitors' gravel wheels were just like blowing up in their impact testing when ENVE's they could just like smash it over and over again and it was totally fine. Crazy.
I mean, they probably didn't even test the wheel that did blow up in the Sea Otter race, did they?
Oh no, definitely not. There's no way they even cared about that brand. No, I'm talking like high-end name brand wheels they
Dang.
were testing, and yeah, a couple of them are not strong enough to be riding anywhere. But yeah. Next tech talk topic. This is just something I thought of, Chase. You've seen the new antimatter, right?
Antimatter?
The Argon antimatter gravel bike.
Oh, yeah.
The one that looks like a time trial bike.
Yes.
Okay. Have you looked into it on their website?
No.
Okay. So you don't know how much faster it is than the dark matter, which was their previous gravel bike.
Oh, dude, that gravel bike looked...
It looked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I guess it kind of reminds me of like a Colnago. Like how it... Because doesn't it only clear 45s?
No. It clears like 2.2s.
Oh, okay.
Look it up real quick while I talk to the audience.
Okay. Do I go into the technical documents?
No, don't look up the antimatter because it'll ruin my little game. Only look up the dark matter just to see pictures of it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk through all the aero tweaks that they made for the antimatter that makes it faster than the dark matter. And then Chase, you're gonna guess how much faster it is.
Okay.
Did you look up pictures of the dark matter?
I'm slow. I got distracted. I looked up their athletes to make sure they had Danny Strawberry listed. They do. Okay. The dark matter doesn't look bad.
It's a pretty modern aero-ish gravel bike. Like it's almost like similar in shape to the Mog, just everything is more aero tweaked, I would say. In terms of looking at it. It's hard to tell. Okay, you didn't look up anything on the antimatter, right?
Just what it looked like.
Okay. So I did some deep dives on the antimatter and read all their documentation. And I'm going to tell you all the things that they made faster on it. And then at the end, you're going to guess how many watts faster this bike is. You ready? Okay. So the frame itself is obviously looks like a time trial bike. Super drop chain stay or seat stays, super aero tube shapes all over the place. So that's the frame. Then they also have aero bottle cages, not just standard bottle cages. Okay. And they did the testing with all this stuff that I'm going to talk about. It has an aero bag made by Apidura, kind of like the Apidura aero system thing. So they use that for the testing. It fills in the little space right in front of the steer tube area. Has a new aero one-piece handlebar and stem. So that's more aero than the previous two-piece system. Aero headset area, I guess top cap and stuff. I don't know that had that. They made it more aero, and then it had more aero wheels that they tested it with too. And they tested it at 45 kilometers an hour. Okay. So that's all the things that make it more aero than the dark matter. How much faster do you think this bike is in terms of watt savings at 45 kilometers an hour?
Okay, so I listened to you and I looked at the pictures. The front fork is also deeper and doesn't have bolts for a bolt on.
Yeah.
I wonder, did they test with the same tire size?
It didn't say. So
Okay.
that could have used the same. They could have went smaller for more aero savings. They could have went with whatever it's sold with, which I would assume is probably bigger, but I don't know that. Yeah, not
Okay.
sure.
I'm going to guess cockpit probably saved at that speed 7 watts.
Okay.
The head tube with the Apodura bag at that speed probably saved something crazy 25 watts. So we're at 32. Aero bottles, bottle cages, which I see what they did. That's nice because
Yeah,
you can use
they're kind of cool.
you
You
can
can use
use
standard bottles, but it just like makes an aerofoil around the bottle basically, and tucks them the way they're like tucked together. Made it both bottles together.
that's another 20 watts. The aero wheels 5 watts. My guess was gonna be like 67 watts.
Okay, that's your guess. Okay, so
At 45 kilometers per hour.
at
Which
45
also,
kilometers an hour.
dude, for the people listening who are like, you never go 30 miles per hour in a gravel race, I have done bike rides every single day with a 20 mile per hour headwind where I'm going 10 miles per hour into it, which is like I'm going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Think if that math works out. So like,
I don't know if that math works out, but that makes sense in my head, and I believe you.
yeah, so like in my head, I'm like, this is like biking 30 miles per hour with no wind. So, and then you also have the crosswind. Sorry, I'm just going on a rant for the people who didn't like the wind tunnel video.
No, I like that.
Okay, 67 watts is my guess.
I'm gonna say something before telling you the results. I think this is like the first time a bike company has ever just like posted honest results. Okay, without like just overly inflating everything and saying this bike is 97% more aero, whatever. And then I'm also gonna say I don't think all these aero bikes are everything that people wish they would be. So this bike, with the way they tested it against the Argon dark matter, was 14.5 watts faster.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was kind of blown away. Like,
well,
they went all out and made the most aero everything they could make, and it was only 14.5 watts faster than the dark matter. And it kind of like blew my mind in a way, and it's like, so everybody else is just lying about, oh, we tweaked the fork and now our bike's 30 watts faster. Like, no, you did it.
Dude, also like that's a speed where the watts should be crazy. Like once you are going 45, 50k an hour.
Yeah.
Like some of my wind tunnel data, it's kind of hard to believe because the watt savings are, I forget what aero gloves were, but it's like,
well, it kind of made me go back and think about like the I think it's like the Tour magazine that does all the road bike testing.
Yeah, because that's all.
A lot of bike brands like build bikes to be fast for that test. So they'll put like super narrow tires you would never use, the deepest wheels, like all of the stuff that's not like applicable to real world riding, to cheat the results basically and get the bikes to whatever it is, like 200 watts resistance or something. In, let's say 200 watts is like one of the fastest bikes on there. There's a couple that are a few watts faster or whatever, but somewhere around 200 watts. But then the slow bikes are only like 210 to 215. Talking like round tube Athos looking bikes.
Yeah.
And it's like, so really going from a round tube bike to the most aero bikes is only 10 to 15 watt difference. You know?
That does make sense.
So then I was like, oh, it kind of does make sense that this Argon's only 14.5 watts faster with all this extra aero advantages with the the pack and the bottle cages and all that stuff.
Dang.
And then you throw big tires on it and it just ruins all the aero anyways.
Sorry, I'm trying to find this data, dude, because
It's on their I don't know. It's somewhere on there.
Okay, I'll look for it after.
It should be like the first thing you see when you click on the new antimatter.
I don't know, dude. That is.
Oh, did you see the leaks of the new Crux that was all over the internet?
No, I haven't.
What? How did you? I saw some dude made a YouTube video like going through all the tech docs. Like, I don't know how he got those, but he basically showed everything. Yeah, so there's a new Crux leaked and it looks exactly like a SL7, but with 2.2 tire clearance.
Would it be okay if I screen shared the video? Oh wait, I don't know how far into the video I would have to go. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna share the video. Just to be nice to Specialized. Essentially, it looks like a SL8.
Yeah,
with
I don't
big
know why they were
clearance.
comparing it more to the SL7. I
Oh, wait.
can't find the.
It looks like more of an SL7 because it doesn't have that the head
speed
tube that
sniffer.
yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know where I saw the that aero document on the dark or the antimatter. I'll have to send it to you. It was in an email. But it definitely wasn't just like a dealer only email. But yeah, the new Crux looks pretty cool.
Dude, it looks clean. Like I thought it was gonna look more crazy aero, but I think we talked about this last week. So many of the gravel bikes look almost too crazy aero, like the antimatter. Like just from like if you walked into a bike shop and saw that, you would just be like, that bike looks crazy. Like I don't know. But then if you look at this Crux, sorry, dude, it looks exactly like the SL7 or SL8. It just looks like a clean, bike. And the I mean, speaking of the tour testing, the SL7 and the SL8 test pretty good in that. So it's probably also really.
One thing that was funny with when they released the SL8, was they said the bike was like 12 watts faster, 14 watts, something like that. Or I think it was like 10 watts faster than the SL7. But then if you looked at just the information on the handlebar versus the old handlebar, the handlebar was 12 watts faster. So when you do the math, the frame itself was actually slower, but the handlebar made up for the difference or something like that. I forget what it was. I saw that somewhere. But yeah, it looks like the SL7, and the SL7 is like, I think, one of the best looking road bikes that has ever existed.
Yeah, it's just simple. Like,
yeah,
it looks good from like a fast perspective. Like, oh, that bike looks like it could be aero. And it also looks good from like just a looks, I don't know, like a climbing bike perspective.
Yeah. No, it looks great. Yeah, the antimatter is a little like it's cool, but it's a little crazy. Like it's almost too much.
Yeah. Which
and like I don't know.
Your everyday rider is gonna look at the antimatter and be like, that's like too. I don't want to look like that. It's like a person who would wear calf sleeves because it's faster, even though it looks dumb. This is like an extreme example. Or the guy who just wants to wear casual knitted white socks because that are like the perfect height. Because cool, or like, a standard Aero pair of socks, because that's
It's just
still
like clean looking.
good, but it's also clean looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many bikes out there, and it's like each person can just pick the one that looks best to them. So that's good. If you want to go all in on crazy looking aero bikes, there's a whole bunch of them now. And then if you want just a clean round tube bike, there's a handful of those too.
I do have to say, zooming in on this Crux, it doesn't look like there's a derailleur mount on it.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think a lot of these new gravel bikes do not have front derailleur mount options. This Argon does not either.
SRAM's kind of taken over, so.
Yeah. There was quite a bit of YouTube videos after Traka, or YouTube videos and podcasts and things, and all of them mentioned, like, it seems like SRAM has taken over the gravel scene, and it's like, yeah, it's been that way for like 3 years. I don't know how you guys are just noticing. Yeah, pretty at least at the top level. I'm sure like the more budget friendly age grouper casual rider bikes, there's definitely still a place for like 2x SRAM mechanical stuff.
I think it's kind of the like old crowd who just grew up on Shimano on their road bikes and just want to stick with that on their gravel bikes, which makes total sense. Like I was kind of forced into changing because I had my, like, Lauf was super early with, you couldn't not run SRAM, or like you had to run SRAM, so.
Yeah. It's good. I don't know why you wouldn't run SRAM.
Because you're Dylan Johnson and you want to save 1 watt.
Bro, Dylan's been on SRAM since last year, though.
Yeah.
He switched.
Dude, Dylan listens to this podcast.
Does he?
Mind blown. Yeah, because he reached out about the Onbound housing that I advertised.
Oh, that's funny. Should we do listener questions? There's only 3 of them right now.
Yeah.
I posted this an hour ago. And one of them is, what are we thinking about the 2027 Crux leaks? So we covered one of them already. What mountain bike races are you guys doing this year?
I am doing Lutzen 99er and the Gunflint Scramble.
Dang, that sounds sick.
Dude, go check it out. It's like, it was my favorite weekend of bike racing last year because my family and I went up to Bearskin Lodge, which is where the race is held at, and we stayed in one of their cabins, and it was the cabins on a lake, and just like something about staying in a cabin and was super chill. And then the like mountain bike race was right there. It's kind of like Schwamigan, the course, but it's more rocky. Okay, it's similar in Schwamigan that it's on a ski trail, but the ski trail is hillier and rockier. So
okay, that sounds dope.
Yeah,
are you doing Schwamigan?
Probably not, because I don't. It matters how I'm doing at that time of the season. Like if I can go there and I think I can crack a good result, yeah, I'll do it. But if I just want to go target Big Sugar, then I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah. Are you gonna do Little Sugar?
No, because I put on a gravel race that weekend.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Also, go check out the Filthy 50. Sorry, all my plugs.
Yeah. I guess I'm still up in the air whether I'm gonna do Schwamigan and Little Sugar. Because that's also up in there.
Dude, come do it. I think Job is gonna do it. So
there's a good chance.
Job could drive up. JP,
yeah,
I think is gonna be there.
I think I'd do pretty well at Lutzen too.
Dude, I'm so nervous. They banned aero bars this year, so and there's single tracks. I'm just like, oh man, Emil's gonna whoop up on me.
He rode a mountain bike last year? Or wait, no, he was on a gravel bike
He was
last year.
on a gravel bike.
Yeah.
So.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I wish I was doing Leadville. I really want to do Leadville again.
Come do Lutzen, win a token, and then go race
for
Leadville.
2027.
No, it's for 2026.
Is it? When is Leadville?
Leadville is August. Like August 14th.
Dang. There's a lot going on. I don't know if I can make all these races happen. There's so many races.
Get to central Minnesota and you can ride with me. Dude, if you flew in, I will come pick you up.
Okay. I'll come do it. I'll figure out how to get there. I'll make it happen. The only other listener question is, why does Lifetime hate me?
Dude, this is like the Michael Garrison got DQ'd because of his popularity, but Drew Dillman, I mean Drew's also popular, but his is just a YouTube video that gets 20,000 views. Michael Garrison's video got a lot more than that. So I think since you're well known, especially with the YouTube channel with the bicycle station, I think that just
gives them a reason to hate me.
Because they know, they see Trey Shepard and they're like, oh yeah, I that name is familiar. Let me look into this person. Where oh, Joe Schmo from Kokomo is registered.
He's in.
He's in.
He's in.
Yeah.
My question, this is a question to Lifetime, is when do they start relegating people from the elite field? So say all the people at Sea Otter that finished, so I would have been 90th place or whatever in the elite field. So there was 50 people slower than me. Why are the people that are, because I'm obviously in Lifetime's eyes too slow to race the pro race, but there was 50 people slower than me, so they should also be too slow to race the pro race. And then there was another 10 people that DNF'd, but none of those people got relegated for Unbound. They all still get a go race Unbound elite race, even though they're, I mean, on paper, not good enough to race Unbound in the elite field. You see what I'm saying? When do relegations start happening? Or is it once you're in, you're just always in and it doesn't matter how bad of a biker you are?
I think they'll start happening more and more often. I think with Sea Otter, you would have to Sea Otter is tricky because there's the U23 racers also in the
field. But they aren't racing the elite field at Unbound. They're doing the 100.
Yeah, so they can't get you're probably beating a lot of U23 racers at Sea Otter. What would kind of fix this issue is U23 racers, especially I think there's a lot. They just have their own race. They start after the women. I don't know how far back, but because then you slim down how many people are in that race, and then you could get more strict. But then with
Unbound. Lifetime came out with the start list already for Unbound,
and
there's 200 starters between the elite field, men and women elite field. So I would assume they just split it evenly, 100 and 100. So that means there was on top of the elite field at Sea Otter, there was another 30 or 40 people that got let in.
Mm.
And I still was not one of them.
Oh, wait. It's probably a whole bunch of Europeans, right?
I don't know. Could be. There was also like a lot of the wild cards that didn't show up for Sea Otter are showing up for Unbound, and they get in.
Okay,
Which doesn't seem fair.
shouldn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many things that just aren't really fair here. I'm like going to all the races and trying to get in, and then people aren't going to the races and just are given a spot.
Yeah, no, that one seems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little crazy. But I'm going to show up to Unbound and do the age group race and win that sucker. And then they can't not let me in.
Dude, you have to win the age. Well,
I know.
also, like, win that and then come win Lutzen.
The double win?
The double
Dude,
win.
it's so hard to win a race.
That is true. I always think
It
about
doesn't
this.
matter how good you are. It's so hard to win a race.
Dude, I was thinking, like, I used to play hockey. And,
Yeah.
like, you know, in hockey, you probably win about 50% of your games. Like, that's how the math should work. So, like, in a season, you win 20 times or whatever in hockey, and you score goals. Like, dude, scoring a goal in whatever sport, I don't know what it is to, like, score a basketball hoop score, but, dude, scoring a goal in hockey was electrifying. Like, the crowd is excited. You're celebrating.
It's because goals are more rare in hockey than like basketball. In
Yeah.
basketball, they score like 60 or 70 times per game. And in hockey, you score like 2 or 3 times per. Is it called a game?
Yeah.
Hockey game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, but like,
yeah,
you know, like, so I had all that excitement when I was a hockey player, and I'm a bike racer.
Yeah.
And the only times I win bike races is if it's a local event, and like I
but even then, those aren't like easy to win.
Okay, like Lutzen.
Sometimes.
What Lutzen is not easy to win. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I like. I don't think I will win Lutzen this year, but like, okay, the local. I guess I wouldn't win Granny's race either, but like, there's some races that are a little easier for like a pro. And then I was in my head, I'm like, is this how Keegan feels going into a lot of the gravel races? Like, he should be the one who wins. So then when he wins, it's like not as exciting. Like, I want to win a bike race.
People expected it.
Yeah, like I want to win a bike race where I'm not the favorite.
Yeah.
And I will like cry and be super happy and probably retire. Just like end on the high note.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Or just go back to playing hockey and winning a whole bunch.
It feels so good to win, but it like is so hard to do. Yeah. Especially like even our local races, like Drew always shows up, or Kyle Kalish, who's one of the wild cards, is there. Like, there's still fast guys that show up to the local stuff.
Did Kyle do Sea Otter?
Yeah. I think I don't know what his time was. I think he was probably a little behind you. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we can wrap it up because, dude, we have to put a 30-minute interview in this podcast. Also,
this is a long podcast.
It'll be.
Well, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this podcast. Hope you enjoyed learning about the new ENVE wheels. I can't wait to listen to this podcast myself so I can hear the interview with Jake and Chase.
Dude, it went really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
This is the end of the podcast. If Chris or Jake are listening, I hope they find this funny. I went into, you texted me, like, do you have any questions for him? And that was about 15 minutes before the podcast started.
Yeah.
And I, like, gave myself just 5 minutes to put together the questions.
Yeah.
And, dude, it went super smoothly, I thought. Because Jake,
I texted you asking if you had questions, and then you didn't respond. And if you were going to be like, no, I had like some questions lined up that you could have asked him. I was just trying to help since I couldn't be in the interview.
Jake was really good at actually answering a lot of my questions,
Yeah.
just talking about them. Like, here, I'll quickly read the questions, I guess. And people will realize this is not actually how I asked the questions in person. I said, how long does it take from concept to final product to finish or create a wheel? What was the decision for making a 4.5 and 6.7 G SES instead of just a 4.5? What trade-offs do you refuse to make when designing the wheels? Was there a maximum weight you wouldn't go over or a minimum width as like baseline that you had to stay above? What was it like to test at the Mercedes AMG F1 wind tunnel? How many different prototypes did you bring there? Which wheel would you recommend for the everyday rider? And then the last one, which actually I did pretty much ask this word for word, was I have the spec sheet, but what specs do you think really stand out for the ENVE G SES? Oh, yeah. And he actually answered that really good. So we talked about like minimum tire width stuff or minimum tires. So
Yeah. I broke it, didn't I? I think it's 44 mils is the narrowest you're supposed to run on the 6.7s.
yeah, I don't think Jake pretty much just said like if you're running a 40, it's actually more aero to run it on the 4.5 instead of the 6.7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you just
that
carried
makes
around
sense.
extra weight and less aerodynamics.
Yeah, but I look cool as heck, and I won by 12 minutes, so had to be fast.
Could have been 13 minutes if.
Could have been 13 minutes. Yeah, I felt pretty slow that day, you know.
Oh, I should have asked like what's faster, what's more aero, a 40 on the 4.5 or a 44 on the 6.7.
Dang, that's a question.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know a funny thing that happened when I went and tested these wheels in the wind tunnel in Indianapolis with Dylan?
Yeah.
Dylan wanted to know how much faster or slower the 6.7 or the G6.7 was versus the regular 6.7s, or basically just like a road wheel versus the super wide gravel wheels from ENVE. And he wanted to know the difference with every single tire size from a 35 to a 2.2.
Oh my gosh.
So he made me put a 35 on the 6.7s, which are a 35 internal. It literally took me like 30 minutes to get the tire on the rim because the tire had to like stretch out to get over the width of the wheel, I guess. And I like couldn't get it on. It was so bad. But the good news is the G6.7 was faster than the regular 6.7 with every single tire width. Even the 35 mil was faster on the super. Yeah, the rim was literally wider than the tire, but it was still somehow faster. Crazy.
Dude, yeah, people will hear about the wind tunnel part, but it sounds like that wind tunnel they go to is like really good at measuring the like really
Any
specific.
differences?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best wind tunnel that exists, I think.
I
It's
haven't
crazy.
looked into it, but if it's a
I want to
Mercedes,
go to that wind tunnel.
yeah.
Yeah. The one in Indy is pretty cool, but the one in Indy is not AMG Mercedes wind tunnel. That's way cooler.
Let me see if I
Sweet.
can find a picture. Okay. that is all.
Anything else before we close it down?
I mean, how's your on-bound block going?
Well, this weekend was not good. Like I talked about, I did so I woke up really early on Thursday to get an endurance ride before work, and then I worked from 10 to 5, and then from 5 p.m. in the afternoon until 3 a.m. I drove to North Carolina.
Ooh.
So that was not ideal. Friday is normally my rest day, so I didn't ride Friday. And then was supposed to do a 5.5-hour workout on Saturday with 5 30-minute tempo efforts in it. I shortened it I got it down to like 3 hours, but I still did the 5 30-minute tempo efforts. I just cut out all the long warm up, the extra endurance at the end, and shortened the rest period. So I still got the workout. I still got the work done, I would say. But the length was not there. And then Sunday, I was supposed to ride like 8 hours, but didn't get to ride at all. Just because I had to hang out with everyone and then had to drive 10 hours home. And then Monday I got back to the regularly scheduled program. Yeah. So since Monday, it's been going well. It's funny because this weekend, I'm trying not to like even think about it, but like I basically haven't missed a workout like the entire year. And then this weekend, I missed like all of my rides.
Dude,
It
isn't
feels
that like you just feel like
you're like, oh, I'm doomed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a terrible cyclist now because I missed 3 days of riding. Like, I know in the back of my mind it doesn't matter, but it feels like it matters.
Yeah, dude, I even feel the same way. Like I was supposed to ride like 5 or 6 hours today, and I just rode 3 hours just because. Well, I had the interview this morning, plus we had someone come look at our deck to redo it. Dude, decks are expensive.
Decks are expensive, yeah.
Yeah, 10 by 10 deck with stairs, $18,000 to.
Oh, decks are way more than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I'm like, I may learn how to build a deck. So
Chase's unbound block is completely ruined because he has to wake up tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., YouTube how to build a deck, and then build the deck the rest of the day.
No, but like,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm getting into deck building starting tomorrow. That is crazy.
You can build like 3 decks, 4 decks a year after like material cost, and like, dude, you're set for the year. Like
4 decks a year. That's
4
it.
4 decks a year, and that pays for just like that's your off season. Like you take a month off in
Dude,
October,
that is a
and
great
just
idea.
Like,
just grind on the deck builds.
One
I wonder
deck
how
a
long
week
it takes
for
to
4
build a
weeks.
deck.
He's like, we can get this done in 3 to 4 days. I'm like,
I feel like a deck shouldn't take that long to build.
No, they do have to tear down the old one though. But that also shouldn't take.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that should, for somebody that does that for a living, I feel like they should knock that out in a day.
Yeah. So that was.
Maybe I'm underestimating the difficulty of building a deck.
Decks are expensive, and I also asked my bike mechanic how much a Trek Speed Concept would cost, because I'm looking into going for the RAM record next spring. And dude, Speed Concepts are expensive.
Bro, just get some ENVE G SES and put them on your Lauf, and put like regular time trial like bars on it, like with the bull horns and then the arrow bars, and I bet you're like 95% of the way to a speed concept.
Yeah. And then just make a like I can just do a paper fairing, and I have my cardboard fairing that would work.
Oh yeah, ENVE has a dude. This is a small talking point. This podcast is so long. I'm sorry. Sam Long, triathlete. I'm sure you know him. I don't know if our listeners will. The fastest legs in triathlon is his like motto or something like that. I don't really know. He just set the world record for the bike leg of an Ironman
Half
with
Ironman.
an half Ironman with an ENVE disc and ENVE 6.7 in the front.
Was that dude? I think it was deeper than a 6.7.
Oh, it might have been.
But yeah, he rides ENVE wheels.
Yeah, he rides ENVE wheels, set the fastest time ever.
Sorry for correcting you. I'm just like,
no, it's okay.
You know what I did all of my 7-hour ride yesterday? I only listened to triathlon podcasts. So
I listen to a lot of triathlon podcasts too. They have a lot to talk about. It seems like there's a lot more triathlon races than gravel races. And you know what else they have? They have a qualification to get into the pro race.
They do.
Like a set rules of how you make it into pro races. So there's no like, oh, you're in and you're not. You just like, you qualify and you're in.
I do think Lifetime should just make something like
they need like a points-based qualification system or something.
Yeah, even like
something along those lines.
I mean, it could even be like, obviously they have all of their races. There's the super big ones, but then you have to take into account like smaller events, and you could just be like, win any race with over 200 participants, and that qualifies you to like get into the pro field if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Ironman's a little different because it's like I think you have to finish like either top 2 or top 3 in any Ironman branded race, and you qualify. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure that's all it is. And then you're in, which would be much harder for Lifetime because they only have 8 races or whatever, which is not enough for that qualification to work. But yeah, some sort of qualification criteria would be cool.
They also have their like the other events they list on the form you have to fill out to apply for the Grand Prix.
Yeah. Just way too loose of a criteria.
This is where gravel gets a governing body and gravel goes out the door.
Yeah. But the good part is there's still 5,000 people that want to do all the big gravel races, and they don't care about the pro race or the qualification system. So gravel will still stay strong.
Okay, this is our 3rd time ending the podcast.
Okay, it's over. Goodbye, everyone. We will talk to you Sunday night. We're going live at some point.
Sunday night.
It's just going to be the Unbound podcast.
Yes. Probably. Yeah. I'll shoot for 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I have to.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.